Righty. There we go. Hadn't seen that in a little bit. What's going on, people? We are GrownAGeeks, and this is a return to the live show. We are doing, I guess this is actually a weigh-in Wednesday. We haven't done weigh-in Wednesday in a while, so we've got a nice little topic to do a weigh-in Wednesday tonight. So our Random Geek Chat is actually going to be a live show. We're live right now on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, so feel free to tune in. Comments will pop up and be available. So anybody that wants to say anything, hop right on in. As always, whenever we would do this, I would always leave a link to join us in the chat. And so if you decide you want to hop on the show, remember this is a live show, so you will be vetted. And if anything is out of place, we will have to let you go. But we are here tonight, and we are going to be talking about the Marvel Avengers Doomsday casting announcement. It was a big deal. They ran a good chunk of the day doing casting reveals. They had all the cool chairs, put everybody's name. So we had, and I noticed that when they showed the chairs, they had music playing to kind of interact with the different people. Thought it was really, really cool. Who had a chance to watch live? If you didn't get a chance to watch live, we're going to recap some of that for you, and we're going to go through the entire casting list. Joining me tonight, we have Wakandan Wings, Miss Teresa, insert cool nickname, Miss Brandy, my man MF Doomsday on the end, like that one, RG Cashmere. Joining me as always, Jeffrey JPNT 17, and I'm Elder Geek Sam. Let's talk about these Marvel announcements. Avengers Doomsday. First off, it was so good to get some of this back out and be able to talk about some of the cool things. What did you all think of the way they did the presentation? The chairs, the music, the slow burn announcement. What were your thoughts on that?
Can y'all please tell me that there was so it was just the chairs, like the chairs going by slow. So yeah. I did not know there was a like this presentation until y'all talked about it in chat. So I went watched the video, but it was like 5 hours. Yeah. And then every time I kept skipping it was just a chair with a name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was it.
That's what it was.
That was the
I think the point of it though was that like instead of it just being like this person and this person and this person, I think like because what was happening, what I saw it on was Twitter, and so it was like as each name got announced, then there was like conversations swirling around this person and that person. So I thought it was like the slow release, I think was like interesting. Maybe too many names for that slow of a release because it was like all day. And I came back and I was like, all right, like I need something besides just like a chair. But I think it was more creative than just like the press release. I think they did have to get out and do something because there was a whole bunch of like concept art that got leaked online a while ago that I didn't look at because just like for me ethically, I just feel like they didn't mean for us to see that, and it doesn't really mean anything. Like some concept art never actually ends up in the film anyway, so you just end up getting yourself worked up for no reason. So I think that they had to get something out there though, just to get people like salivating and not writing their own scripts to Doomsday, because that's kind of what was happening based off of the concept art. And I think some people were getting upset based off of people who they were seeing and people who they weren't seeing, and it was just like, all right, let's take control of the narrative. So I will commend them on that. I will commend them on being creative in how they announced that it's going into production, but I think maybe a little long.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely felt. Go ahead, Teresa.
No, I was just gonna say I actually liked it. It was perfect for me because Was that me?
Sorry. No, that was me.
Okay. Because I'm working, but I work from home, so I don't have anybody calling me out on having my iPad over here and my phone over here. So I had the Facebook live stream going on my phone next to me while I was working. And so, you know, whenever another song would crank up, you know, then I pay attention. I look over. I know that means they're about to pull in another chair or whatever. So it was perfect for me.
Okay.
And like I said, I had the phone on one side, iPad on the other side. So when it was somebody special or whatever, I pull up Facebook on the other one, and you know, I'm chatting with all the other people who are watching. So it was good for me. I liked the suspense. I don't know. It worked for me. Just leave it at that.
Yeah. I got a chance to kind of jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. And because of that, that's how I noticed that there was different music playing at different times. Because I want to say at one point, one of the names was announced. I could tell that was Wakanda. Like I knew that was something Wakandan, and you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, okay, that's an announcement. And I'm looking, and then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's cool that person's going to be there. Another point, I was flipping through, and I was like, I don't recognize this song. Then when they showed the name, I was like, oh yeah, that was a song that was playing. So the presentation as a whole, I think it was very good on Marvel's part for engagement farming, because I actually, you know what? I clicked on the Facebook. I clicked on the Facebook Live that they were doing, and the comments, the chat was just, it was alive. It's
all day.
I mean,
constant.
just as they were talking, and I mean, it's very clear that I think when I looked in at one point, there were like 5,000 people watching live.
Wow.
I clicked in later. I want to say the highest I saw was like maybe 6,000 people simultaneous. But it stayed on the upper end. And every time I went in, it felt like there was a number of people in there, and everybody was talking about the current casting. There were names that I saw and I did not recognize the name right away, but I could immediately just look at the chat, and somebody was breaking down exactly who that was and why they were there, what movie, and you know, that sort of thing. And it was a surprisingly good chat. Like, I don't feel like everybody was, you know, being like they are on the internet a lot of times when it comes to stuff like this. And you know, it's like the fandom came together for the announcement and the discussion, and people seem to be excited. And, you know, I think given the way things have gone for Marvel over the last few projects, it was kind of refreshing to see the enthusiasm and be around people who had that enthusiasm, be around, you know, but like in the comments, in the chat, and see that enthusiasm still be there in live. So I think overall it was a successful way to do it, and I was pleased. I agree. Long as hell.
Yeah.
For them to go back and be able to recap the hours of video into like a 2 minute segment, that was like, that's how you stretch right there. Like that's some Marvel production stretching right there.
Facts.
One of my Facebook friends said it was like the NFL draft for nerds.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and you know what? And that is
damn.
I saw that and I shared that also, because I was like, that's exactly what it felt like.
Yep.
Because we were all sitting there, and as soon as we saw a name, we were like, oh yeah, no. There would be the conversation.
Avengers are on the clock.
And then when they would start moving the camera, you're like, okay, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Yeah, it's this person. And you know, and there were different times where I saw, you know what, that's a perfect moment to get into this.
Wait, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I also think that another good thing they did was they mixed up the order. So it was a lot of like, okay, oh shit,
Right.
oh, all right. Like, it was like people who you expect to be there, people who you're like, oh, okay, like they're bringing them back, or they feel confident enough about this character to bring them up this early. And then there was a few that was like, oh, him and him and him.
Right.
Oh, so we're doing this. Okay. Right. Okay.
It's official.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, let's go around, everybody, and Jeff, we'll start with you because you're right next to me. Pick one name that you were most excited or surprised to see. Let's just get it out the way. Rip the Band-Aid.
It's not going to be. It's definitely not going to be my excited one.
I think I'm surprised.
Honestly, the one that I was like most excited to see was Simu Liu for Shang-Chi, because I feel like that was one of those movies that got caught up in the like, we don't know if we like Marvel anymore. It's too diverse. It's too this. Kevin Feige's gone. We got to right the ship. It's too woke. All this other stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. But Shang-Chi was like a good movie, and Simu Liu was a good character, and he was kicking ass in that movie. That movie, I feel like that movie and the Marvels got like caught up in the like shrapnel of the anti-Marvelness of the geekosphere of that time. And I think if people go back and revisit that, it was like, it got a lot of the like Eternal stink on it, unfortunately, where people really didn't like the Eternals. And, you know, that movie, like Shang-Chi was like right up with that. And so I feel like I'm glad he's coming back. I'm glad he's getting to dance with the big boys, because, you know, we left off where, you know, him and Wong and his homegirl, Awkwafina, it seemed like they was going to get integrated, and then we ain't heard nothing from them since. So it really was looking like, are we going to see him, have him come back? And, you know, I hope he come back and he do his thing, because, you know, I'm a fan of him as an actor. I really like Kim's Convenience. I thought that show was really, really funny, and I'm glad he's, you know, moving on up in the world. So that was the name that I was the most excited to see.
Yeah, I still got to get an answer of what the rings are. The cosmic power, are they related to the Bengals? I need that stuff to be clarified. So I need them to come back and do Shang-Chi 2, so I can get that answer. Like, we went that route with the Marvels, so I was like, ooh, maybe okay, and yeah, nothing. RG, from the list of names that you've seen, who is the surprise or the one you were most excited to see?
I'll tell you who I'm most excited to see, because all the regular names, right, the Chris Hemsworth, Tom Hiddleston, I expect those. You know, you're going to have the heavy hitters. This is a big, you know, this is the new Thanos. Doom's the new Thanos. So I'm good with them. I'm happy with them. But I'm really kind of excited to see Mystique and Rebecca Ramjan. I fucking love the Mystique character. Like, you know, like I love her from the comics, but I do really like the way Rebecca Ramjan portrayed Mystique. And Mystique is dangerous. Yeah. And Rebecca Ramjan played her in a very, like, in a manner that you feel.
Go ahead and say it, Sam.
It's not Ramjan.
How do you pronounce it?
Romaine.
Romaine. Okay, my bad.
Nah, it was like
I saw Sam twitching every time you said it.
Actually, no.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Because this is literally the first time somebody has corrected me for saying her name. So
yeah,
apparently a lot. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Rebecca Romaine.
Romaine Stamos, actually.
I remember that one.
Not anymore.
Yeah, well, true. That's what, like, well, you know, at the time, but
yes, but
she's still O'Connell. Rebecca Romaine O'Connell.
Okay. Well, I like her Mystique. I like her Mystique, and I think she's an interesting character. You know,
because she looked like she was having fun and enjoying playing Mystique. Like she was
she
all
looked
in.
like she could actually kick some ass.
Yeah.
As opposed
she was
to
all in playing Mystique, and I appreciated that.
As opposed to what J-Law was doing, because like
yeah, her Mystique, she was a Mystique who hated herself, whereas Rebecca Romaine was like, I'm gonna be blue unless I need to be something else.
Facts. Like I quite enjoy everything about me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's I can see that. That's a good pick. And like you said, OG Mystique was that's still who comes to mind when I think of Mystique.
Yeah.
I don't count any of the other versions of Mystique I've seen. Like they don't count. Just that Rebecca Romaine, she's the one that pulled it together. Teresa.
Yeah.
Who was the one you were surprised? Who were you excited to see?
And this is in no way
Go ahead and say it.
Upset Jeffrey.
Get him out early. Get him out early.
Okay, first, I'm gonna go with my number 2 one first because I love. You already mentioned Beast. Kelsey Grammer is Beast to me. His voice is Beast's voice. So when I saw Kelsey Grammer, I was super excited. But number 1 is Channing Tatum. So I was a little surprised because of the gambit we got. But we have to remember that was in Deadpool. And this is going to be a much more serious thing. And I am convinced that this will be a much more serious and much less buffoonish gambit. But I'm happy that he's getting his chance to play the role. Because he wanted to play the role and it just got kind of lost in whatever. And I mean, I think he can do it without being.
I still say the character that he played in The Hateful Eight is what made me think that he could play Gambit.
Yeah.
In a serious way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's
for that brief moment, he was quite country.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt because I know how bad he wants this. I don't see him not taking it seriously.
I'm of two minds of it, and this is an opportunity where it's like if he's going to do it, I need him to be serious. I agree that what we got in Deadpool, the joke was that he had been trying to do it for so long and never got to. Right. So the fact that he showed up and those who know, and it was a great Easter egg, haha, for us. I agree with Teresa, though. I think now that it's coming into an actual Avengers production, it needs to be for real, and it needs to be an actual Gambit, and it needs to, like, Channing Tatum needs to like show me he can act and not play the goofball kind of character.
Yes.
And be Gambit. You know, like you can have somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
About red is his sweatshirt, ain't it?
The Arthur Fist right now.
The lighting. That's the lighting. Okay. It's reflecting off my underbrim of my hat is pink, and the light is reflecting.
Okay.
I'm waiting for actual flames.
But no, honestly, I think like, you know, you take someone like a Chris Pratt who primarily the roles he had prior to becoming Star-Lord were all like jokey haha roles. Didn't have any like serious drama or anything like that. And that's mostly what Channing Tatum's had up to this point. I don't think he's had like serious drama. I haven't seen those movies if he had. Let me say that. But when he came to do this role for Star-Lord, though the character has some quips and some moments, he was acting. And we saw that, okay, he's the leading man. Okay. And it's just, you know, he's moved up from there. And I think this is a shot for Channing Tatum to like show and bring more to that character. If he does love the character as much as he says, now's your chance to prove it. Randy. Who have you been surprised to hear about or excited to, or who are you excited to see?
of the names that I see, I did say Kelsey Grammer, but also I guess we're all just very excited about the old school because James Marsden as Cyclops. I
You know what?
when I think of Cyclops, I think of the cartoon Cyclops from back in the day or James Marsden. So we've never had another Cyclops on the screen. So I'm very like I'm kind of intrigued by that because
well, go ahead. You were saying we've never had another Cyclops continue.
I know. I'm just saying we've never had another Cyclops on the screen, and I didn't think that they would. I didn't think they would bring back the old Cyclops. Now that after like X-Men 97, and we got to see kind of not new and improved Cyclops, but they gave him more meat.
Balls.
Yeah. Combination of the two. Yeah.
There was something in that area.
Fortitude.
But that I just was surprised by that. I thought they would recast all of them. So for all of them to come back, I'm kind of intrigued by that. So I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like they can't possibly not. And I'm not age shaming, but I just mean like they can't possibly be like we're all going to come back and restart the X-Men franchise. So I'm very interested in what exactly their roles are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Great. I mean,
especially
you have
Cyclops because he did not make it through X3 The Last Stand. So I'm kind of curious. I mean, I know we got multiverse and maybe it's a different world with a different X-Men.
It's them from before. It's them from X-Men 1.
I just thought that was when I saw that I was like interesting. I'm not age shaming anybody. If Rebecca Romaine can come back and put herself in that blue paint, ma'am, you better paint it up. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking.
I'm not mad. I just am like, but where do we go from there? Are we going to have new X-Men? Are we going to have the X-Men? Or is this a one-off? Or like what? You know what I mean? No, I don't know because I don't know the story.
I don't know that as an opportunity to introduce some younger actors.
It's probably how they're going to try to incorporate. As that would make sense. I'm gonna stay in the same vein of the OGs, and for me personally, because I mean, if I get to have a Professor X on screen, it makes sense. He's already been Professor X. He's been the only Professor X. I like that we have Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen coming back as Professor X and Magneto. Mm-hmm. And I think we are going to be hard pressed unless you take our selections from our fan casted X-Men edition. Unless you pick one of those people for, Xavier and Magneto. If it ain't broke, keep the classics. If they're still around to do it, do it. And, Patrick Stewart, when he'd had his role in Multiverse of Madness, had the little music playing as he came out in his yellow wheelchair that hovered across. Like it was an exciting moment to see that. So now that character being from a multiverse, we know that character exists in that multiverse, in which case the X-Men probably exist in that particular multiverse. It only makes sense that it would probably be these X-Men in that multiverse, and that's the multiverse that's being brought back in. Of course, that Professor X might not be around anymore. He and Wanda didn't really seem to be getting along, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But another universe like that would be the way to go. And so I'm equal parts surprised that they brought the X-Men as a whole. But I do think it is a good way for them to introduce just the same way they got away with it in Deadpool and Wolverine with multiverse, introducing those OG characters, bringing them back and showing them. It says that, hey, these things existed. Now they're here. Obviously, Doomsday is going to be a multiverse story. So, now, any names you were disappointed to see? Jeff, were there any names that you were disappointed to see on the list?
Yes,
so,
Jeff.
as the list went on throughout the day, I was very, very excited for most of the names that I saw. You know, Kelsey Grammer. I agree with your sentiment about the X-Men. It's like it was interesting, but with Kelsey Grammer showing up at the end of the Marvels, his name made complete and total sense to me because I'm like, we gotta get my girl Teyonah Parris back. Like, we ain't just sending all that beautiful blackness to another universe, never to be heard from again. Then, you know, obviously some of the other names come up, James Marsden. I'm like, oh, that's curious because the one we know, he ain't here no more. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen with that. And then I started getting notifications and texts and, you know, tweets. And a name popped up that I have disparaged on this channel previously. It was brought up earlier tonight by my good friend Teresa, Channing Tatum. I am very disappointed to see that Gambit is being included here because my thing about it is, and this is what I said the last time, like, I understand, like, you know, Deadpool is a funny movie, and the reason, you know, Blade, who traditionally is serious, Elektra, who traditionally was serious, to me, the reason that worked is because, you know, they made jokes that were based on the serious characters that we have already like seen and come to know and love in their own franchises before showing up in Deadpool to parody. But what exactly was Channing Tatum parodying? Because we haven't seen Gambit live action in that style before. We saw, Wolverine Origins or whatever that movie was. Like, if we can pretend that Deadpool don't exist, we can pretend that Gambit don't exist either. I'm cool with that. But I think for me, you know, y'all have way more faith in Channing Tatum's acting abilities than I do. And I also recognize I have probably way more emotional attachment to the character of Gambit than everybody else might. I mean, I have a tattoo, like you said, X-Men 97 episode 5. I started to rewatch and I pretty much stopped at episode 5 every time I rewatch the show because I'm like, damn, they really killed my boy. So I recognize, and I will be the first one to say, if Channing Tatum goes out there and gives a tour de force performance as the lovable Cajun that we all know and love, and throw them cards and do what he gonna do, cool. But remember I said when we did our Deadpool review, him doing this role and the reaction that people are having to it, even though it's a joke, we're gonna probably see him again, unfortunately, which is why I was like trying to make sure I at least was one voice screaming into the wind against him being in this position moving
forward.
Trying
to Inception.
It may be just that he's part of this older X-Men, like Magneto and Xavier and Cyclops and all. He may be part of that squad and just that moment in that universe, not necessarily going forward as Gambit in the new incarnation in the Marvel incarnation.
I feel that. I mean, but I would prefer Zero more times. If it's only like one
there is no scenario that you can put that man in. You can have him save all the babies in Australia.
I think too, because when I look at the Deadpool performance, I'm looking for the serious that I can pull from that. And I'm just like, outside of the action and the fighting, everything was kind of a joke. And like even with like Wesley and even with what's her name?
Electra.
Jennifer, they were delivering jokes, but you could still feel the heart of their true original characters underneath all of that. And I feel like that's what even in the joking, that's kind of what I was looking for. But I also realized he was at a disadvantage because he did not have like a previous appearance to parody off of. But then that's why I felt like you're in 21 Jump Street and this is not, I'm just like, not my Gambit.
Right.
And
no, I feel it.
I want to see the character, and I think a lot of people who are very, very big Gambit fans, we just really want to see this character done right. We've been waiting for this specific character to be done right on the big screen for a very, very long time. In my personal opinion, Channing Tatum's campaigning for this role has kept the character off of the screen because people who understand how Hollywood roles work, when motherfuckers sink his teeth in and start spending money and getting blogs involved trying to make sure he's the one who's cast, other people stay away unless you want the beef. And you know, he's big enough to you might not during the Magic Mike days, he's big enough you might not want the beef with Channing Tatum. Like he might keep you out of a few things if this Gambit role don't go right in the X-Men.
This last, what was the last? He did the movie, the Zoe Kravitz movie, Don't Blink or Blink Twice or something.
He was like he was like kidnapping people.
It just came out. He was very serious in that, in a way that really surprised me. So
I'm like I said, I'm gonna be in there. I'm gonna be in there. I'm just saying,
like
the same way I was saying,
like we haven't seen him in anything serious, and I really, he was really, really good in that, and almost to the point where he was almost unrecognizable. And I'm not even being funny. Like I really was like, damn, that's Channing Tatum. Like same thing I said about the Hateful Eight performance. It took me a second to clock that was Channing Tatum in the Hateful Eight because he was so not.
But also, like now, everybody is gonna go into this expecting to see the joke.
You're right.
From Deadpool too. So it's like you kind of painted yourself into a corner a little bit.
When he's
Look, like I said, I'm gonna go into it same way I went into Wicked. Like I don't mess with Cynthia, but I'm give you your chance to do your thing. She did her thing.
Benefit of the doubt.
And I got nothing bad to say about what she did as Elphaba. So if he go in there and he foot and do his thing, and he has charisma and he could,
I hope so.
And it don't feel like we're laughing at him.
Yes.
Then I'm gonna be cool.
I love Gambit too, and you know my pick was not Channing Tatum. My pick was Austin Butler. So
right.
You know, I'm not necessarily like, oh yes, Team Channing. I hope that as long as he has been campaigning for this role, that he holds this character in as high as esteem as you do, and does it justice.
Because I'm also that was what I was saying. Bringing all these people back, but why was we singing "Hope You Had the Time of Your Life" after Deadpool? Like I thought we closed the chapter on all this.
And you know what?
You didn't bring the best lamb.
I was going to speak to that when we get to number 4. I'll speak to that and address that part there. RG. Is there anybody on this list that you were disappointed?
So I'm disappointed, but I'm not disappointed because I didn't want to see him in it. But I'm disappointed because I know the movie's not going to put them in the right light to where I feel like it justifies them being in the movie. Patrick Stewart is old as hell right now. And everything that you see him in, sorry, I love that man. Look, I love that man. That dude is the greatest Star Trek captain to me. He's my favorite Star Trek captain. So, you know, but good He's old. He's shaky.
He gonna be sitting
a
down
little bit. I know it's true.
all you gotta do is this. He not jumping off nothing. He not running nowhere.
Honestly, looking at his performance for
mind.
Multiverse of Madness, they'll probably record.
Do you know how long ago that was?
Before other scenes.
Do you know how long ago that was? Time moves exponentially for him. That 4 years is a lot to him. He's aged in that time.
He can do everything.
I want to believe.
Don't you talk bad about us? Do it.
I want to believe.
Well, 3 years ago. Well, 3 years ago was the end of his show Picard. Right. And he looked good in that. Mm-hmm. He was walking around.
Passable. He looked.
Not too much. Not too much.
He was doing more than this.
And I know he's gonna keep it in his little 2-step area. You know what I'm saying? And I'm fine with that, but I just don't think they're gonna do him. I'm not disappointed because it's him. I'm disappointed because he is capable of delivering a great performance. And I think they're gonna waste his performance. I think they're gonna waste Ian's performance. I don't think, I'm gonna love for nostalgia reasons seeing them up there. But I know that unless they're gonna be given something meaningful, like I want to hear them say something really, really meaningful, because these are really, really meaningful characters to the idea of introducing mutants into this universe. And so they are the architects of that mutant movement with Marvel.
The ideology of
mutant movement with Marvel. Good. You know how hard that was?
Yeah. You got
that is one of my favorite things. So
yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm kind of disappointed. I'm really comfortable with everybody in here. It's kind of expected. It's everybody who had a movie, and then everybody we kind of liked from previous movies. So, I'm not hating too much. I really, really, really want to start liking Marvel again, and I'm just desperate right now. I'm desperate. I'm lowering my standards right now.
All right, don't make me and Teresa have to do another 2v1 show.
I'm ready. I'm ready because I got some pent up rage.
All right.
I'm still mad about Eternals.
Well, we'll have to schedule that one, and maybe we'll do it as a live show and let you all have at it. Teresa, any names that you were disappointed to see?
The only one, because I just went back and looked at the list, the only one that could really even slightly be in this category, because everybody else I really like, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. The only one is Wyatt Russell, but that is only because his character is so punchable. But we have Thunderbolts. Right. We have Thunderbolts coming before that. So maybe, this will be his redemption arc. Now we no longer want to throat punch him, but if it's not, then I'm
exactly what she said is what I said.
Okay. Interestingly, so other than is that your pick also, Brenda? Or was there anybody else?
That was my pick, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Of the names that I saw, I was like, why?
You're about to jump this nigga. That's
coming out. I understand that, that may change everything, and I may wake up tomorrow or after the movie and be like, oh, like I feel maybe he'll change me like Nebula changed me. But as of right now, no.
Right.
I don't need him anywhere near anything that's happening ever. And that's terrible because I love his parents.
Yeah, but he is not his parents. His parents are his parents. He is him. So that, just because he comes from good stock. Interestingly enough, I have a collection of people. And it kind of goes with my title today. All out of surprises. Honestly, Jeff gave a very good explanation as to why we got this big announcement, and that makes perfect sense, and that's the logic that I needed to explain this. But also, like, damn, what happened to surprises? What happened to reveals? What happened to the excitement of seeing something on screen? Avengers, like, they know how to do this. Marvel knows how to get that. And I feel like they're showing their cards a little early because, as we pointed out, and this was something that I've kind of thought of as being a little
one
bit.
sec, please.
Sure. I thought of it as being a little bit spoilery in that Fantastic Four movie has not come out yet. The Thunderbolts movie has not come out yet. And when I see cast members from the Thunderbolts movie, when I see cast members from the Fantastic Four movie on this list, there's a small part of me in the back of my mind that's not going to be concerned about any danger posed to those characters.
Right.
Now, that's the way my brain works. But we are talking about a multiverse movie. So it doesn't inherently mean that person is just automatically safe from Thunderbolts, because hell, this could be a different version of that person from an entirely different universe that was never a Thunderbolt. Just like you said, maybe Wyatt Russell, John Walker, damn it. But maybe this is the John Walker from the universe where he's remained Captain America and did a good job. And so, we'll look at him in a different light because, of course, and there's also going to be, there has to be some aspect of the movie where people are going to see one another and possibly interact differently. Because if you have Chris Hemsworth, if you have any of the OG characters, Chris Hemsworth, Sam Wilson, some of those core Avengers, some of those first round Avengers, if they get a chance to see Dr. Doom without his mask, that's gonna mess them up. There's no telling how Thor's going to react if he gets a chance to see Dr. Doom, because that's going to be Tony Stark's face in his mind. And he'll go and have a conversation and talk to him like, oh, Stark, my friend. No, we were great friends. Because he understands a little bit about multiverse. And he'll just say, like, no, we were once great friends. And Doom will be like, are you speaking to me? You know what I'm saying? Like, how dare you, peasant, move along.
Doom has
Which better not.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that
saying?
Better not happen in the first movie. Jesus Christ.
And so there is the aspect of multiverse playing into
surprise, nigga.
There is the aspect of multiverse and how it plays into the story. And since we don't have those details, I can relax and I can be calm. But initially, when I see the cast of Thunderbolts, when I see the cast of Fantastic Four, I'm like, well, guess he's going to live this movie. Guess he's going to live in the movie. And then when I tying in to the next question, names that we haven't seen that we would like to be surprises.
Ooh, I got a good one.
I'm looking at that and I'm like, well, if I see these three people from Thunderbolts, but don't see the other three people from Thunderbolts, I mean, I already have some ideas about who probably not gonna make it anyway. But it's like this just feels like confirmation, and so got to be kind of careful with that. But Jeff, names that you haven't seen that you would like to be a surprise. Who would you like to pop up in this casting?
I mean, there's three names that came straight to mind. The three names I was waiting for today that I did not see. Number one, super obvious, Tom Holland. I mean, we know he's gonna be somewhere somehow. Maybe not in this movie, but we know he's gonna be somewhere. Right. Number two, Iman Vellani. I think that, with how the Marvels ended, how Miss Marvel was received, I kind of, have been thinking that she is going to be one of the future cornerstones that they're going to be building a lot of this franchise is on. And my third one, my girl,
there it
Haley
is.
Steinfeld. Because her and Miss Marvel and Hawkeye, they're gonna be best friends, and they're gonna be rebuilding the new Young Avengers, the future of Marvel, the future of the MCU. And I found it fascinating that they were not included in this. I kind of understand it. I think, they kind of were going for heavy hitters. They were going for people who are currently in projects that are about to be released, and they were going for the shock multiverse factor of X-Men. So I get that they don't really fit into any of those categories per se. And I think the Spider-Man one is just like, you always kind of have to be like secretive about what you're going to do with Spider-Man just because of the whole Sony agreement and all that stuff like that. Right. So, they've said that other names are going to be announced. And honestly, I don't even need them to be announced. I would be happy if they just walked on screen. I'm happy if I just see an arrow fly across the screen and then we slow pan over and it's my girl, Kate Bishop, doing her thing. One with them loaded up in the quiver.
Being the best she can be. All right. You know what? I would like to know the future of Miss Marvel, especially with the reveal of her as a mutant. I think this is a perfect way to tie that and be consistent. RG, who would you like? What would be the name that would be a surprise for you?
I know who I want to see. I want to see Chris Pratt, man. I like him. He's a good Star-Lord. He's funny. He's light. I like him. I smoke a blunt with him. I like Star-Lord. He seems cool.
Never.
He seems cool. He's not gonna snitch.
He the police.
He is not.
I'm putting it out when he's around. Get the smoke out of here. Star-Lord coming.
Maybe the guy Andy from Parks and Rec, but Star-Lord, I don't know about him. Like, no.
He's too grimy. You got warrants. You're not gonna tell.
Rocket, you could smoke a blunt with.
Facts.
Easily,
Rocket rolls.
Rocket, I feel like he's gonna rob me. I feel like Rocket steals my life.
Right,
and he would.
I was about to say, Groot would be like, hold on.
Groot is a tree. So,
yeah, man, it's gonna be good. Be like, nah,
I got a new strand for you.
Don't give me your shoulder. I don't want the one from your shoulder. Give me the one from your right here by your stomach. That's good.
Good,
so,
okay, yeah. Star-Lord. I want
to see Chris Pratt, man. He's funny. He's lighthearted. He's just an enjoyable character. I like his character, man. I like Star-Lord's character. So.
That's funny. Yeah, everybody. So that's probably the clip right there, because we gotta clear Star-Lord out and we all go hang out with Groot Rocket.
Put it up.
That's how that goes. Teresa, what's a name that you haven't seen that you would like to be a surprise? Who would you like to be surprised with on an announcement?
Well, we need some Black girl magic. So, we need our Tiana Paris back.
Amen.
They got me all excited, and I think it was Multiverse of Madness with Lashana Lynch. And we need a Storm with all these other X people.
Yeah,
we
Halle
need a
Berry.
Storm. And I'm on.
Old people back.
Huh?
I am shocked they didn't say anything about Storm.
Yeah,
because Halle could still play that role. She could come back just like the rest of them, and she didn't.
That is not what I want to see.
No, I just mean at all. There's no Storm at all.
I know what you mean. Yeah, and with the old X people, I was just glad that I did not see that. Along with the announcement of the old,
what up, Mark?
X people, because I am Team Jodie Turner Gotta get
well,
Smith.
we can do it like y'all try to
Right.
tell me about Gambit, and she's not the storm for now. I mean, she's not the storm for later. She's just for now, so we can close this chapter,
Hush,
and then
Jeff.
we'll bring in our new.
It's my turn. Liana Lynn.
Get him.
Black
So
girl magic, not light skin magic.
So to that point, in our comments over here on Facebook, somebody said they would like to see Rihanna. I'm guessing that was for Storm.
No, not as Storm.
Not as Storm. I love Rihanna.
Ooh.
I do too.
In the Riri Navy, but no. No.
We're sorry, that's not the right answer. Thanks for playing. And
no, but I value other people's wishes and their opinions.
And like I said, I'm in the Navy. I love Rihanna.
Okay,
I just
that is an interesting. That's not a choice I've heard. That I have to go into consideration. I have to like put thought into that. But my knee jerk on that is I'm with you. I'm like, nah. But I think like the costume and the look, the visual, I'm like, okay, cool.
Well, she's stunning. She could
like the visual works.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking like, what have I seen her? I can't. Like Battleship didn't do it. I'm not convinced from that.
Ocean's 13.
Although I like that movie.
She was kind of good in that. What was that space movie? I keep The 1,000 Planets.
I mean, she basically played herself in that, though.
So,
Valerian was it Valerian?
No, Valerian.
Yeah, Valerian.
That was
she
awful.
was actually. The movie
Nobody was good in that movie.
Yeah, that movie was.
I was about to say she basically played herself in that movie, though. So that's
rollerblading in space.
That was garbage.
She had a little voiceover moments.
Okay. Brandy, who would be the surprise?
Two names. The two names that I've been championing for forever. So of course, Moon Knight. Anytime, any place.
Yeah.
That they want to bring him back, I am all in. And then why Wanda? So I was really shocked that because I saw
that was voice work. That don't count.
I saw a article, and so I was like, why oh bless her, why Elizabeth Olsen is coming back to play Wanda, and I got super excited, and then not to see her name,
unfortunately,
I was really surprised by that. But also Moon Knight. If you're going to bring back Shang-Chi, which I'm 100% behind, I really enjoyed Shang-Chi. I really did. I liked that movie a lot, even though I hate Awkwafina. It's vicious and it's personal. Yeah. But I liked Shang-Chi to my shame.
I like the end. I like Awkwafina at the end of Shang-Chi when she wasn't talking the whole time.
She was serviceable. And then of course Michelle. I mean, anything Michelle is in, come on. So I'm like, if you're gonna bring back Shang-Chi, I'm gonna need you to bring back Moon Knight. And he doesn't even have to be Moon Knight. He could just be Stephen or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he could be Stephen Jake. Like doing something. Yeah. I just want him back in the universe. I don't understand why they did how they did.
Like I gotta have Mr. Knight.
Give me one good transformation. That's all I need in life. So
yeah. I'll even take a season 2 of Moon Knight. If y'all don't want to put him in the movie, just do it.
I would love a season 2. They left us on such a cliffhanger.
Awesome. That needs multiple seasons.
We are waiting on that.
It's intriguing.
Honestly, I'm kind of with Jeff as far as like I think anybody that they can keep a surprise works as a surprise because there's a certain number of people that are still alive and kicking, and as a result, we kind of expect they're going to show up in some capacity. And then if we're just like randomly pulling people and this and that, because like I don't know that I need to see Deadpool in this. I don't know that I need to see Wolverine in this. I think what they've done already is fine, and that's good. But that does now bring the concern, as we have Gambit. Are they going to start trying to pull those characters? Are we going to get another Blade cameo? Are we going to get another Elektra cameo? And I'm leaning more towards, if we honestly want to do something that is going to be just like a true surprise, bring the Defenders into the movies, like canonize all of that. And if you want to bring,
just don't want it to become and here's this person. Here's this person. Oh, we're going around the corner. Here I am. Like,
see, I mean, if we know that there is anything, if they're taking the battle world, which all the early reports indicate that that's going to be a part of it and whatnot, I think that there's going to be, instead of having like a council of reeds or a council of kangs, I think it's just going to be a multiverse terminal, like almost like walking through the airport, and every flight is a multiversal door. So that's where we're going to get the Easter egg of seeing this random person from the back, so that they don't have to pay for full licensing, but you spot the Easter egg and know that that's so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? We'll get that person over here and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, bring back a regular Hulk, not Professor Hulk. I need Rage Monster, Get Big, Hulk Smash, Hulk. Professor Hulk is just like, I don't know if that's a request by Mark Ruffalo to stay in that form of the character, because it's like him still, and maybe he gets like a little bit more money because it's not all CGI and voice work. I don't know. But if I'm going to get any kind of surprise, like, just show me a Hulk.
Yeah, no Hulk in a sweater. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, Uncle Hulk ain't working for me. Like
Hulk in his reading glasses.
Right, you know?
Hulk in the sweater.
I do think that's an interesting thought, though.
She-Hulk, they could bring She-Hulk back.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, if they do any of the TV shows that are canonically apart, and now that Daredevil's come over, that's canonically there. Daredevil's interacted with Punisher, so of course Punisher's canon. If the two of them have interacted, a couple of
other things, but y'all haven't seen the new episode, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
And so if we have Daredevil and Punisher and their canon, and the crossover he already did with Spider-Man that initially made him canon, he's interacted with She-Hulk, who already interacted with Mark Ruffalo. I mean, like, you can start to like just straighten it out and put everything where it needs to be, and say that all of this exists, and this person can interact with that person because it's all there. And that would be about I'm not going to say the only thing left to be a surprise, but that would be a cool way to do it.
Yeah, I think they just got to like make sure that the story is the thing. Like, I agree with Brandy wholeheartedly. Like, cameos and big casts and secret people and all that is cool. But like, if the story is boo-boo, I don't care who show up. Like, you just showing up to add more boo-boo to the boo-boo. Like, like, you gotta focus on making it good and making sure all those pieces have a purpose. So
those are our thoughts. We hope you've enjoyed. We're just gonna, I'm gonna run through the list one time, just for anybody who doesn't have this. I mean, obviously, if you're on our show at this point, you probably watched. But Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Anthony Mackie, Captain America, Sebastian Stan as the Winter Soldier, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, James Marsden as Cyclops, Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, Letitia Wright as Shuri, Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi, Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova, Danny Ramirez as the Falcon, Winston Duke as M'Baku, Kelsey Grammer as the Beast, Louis Pullman as Sentry, Tunak Huerta, Mejia as Namor, Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, and David Harbour as Red Guardian. That's the announcement so far. That's the casting they've provided. And give us your thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comment. Let us know. What did you think of the presentation? Who was the name you were most excited to see? Was there a name you were disappointed to see? And what are the names that you would like to see as a surprise that has not been named already? We thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed what we've had to say. Make sure to check out our other videos. You can find us everywhere you find GrownAGeeks. For RG, Teresa, Brandy, Jeffrey, I'm Elder Geek Sam, and we are out of here.